Red beans on that thing. Ham hock. Look at that ham hock. Look at it. Platinum.
You there?
I am here.
Oh, Loom Note Taker just tried to enter again.
Kicking out.
I
Kicking out.
did. You want to see something really quickly first? Yo,
Sure.
fucking the 90s nostalgia on Instagram is just too hilarious and not
Mm.
in a good way.
Oh, okay.
So just give me 1 second so I can show you something I threw into Chat GPT. Uh, this is probably going to make it onto a LinkedIn post this week. If I had a time machine, I wouldn't go back for nostalgia. I wouldn't revisit old stores, TV shows, or trends. I'd go back and rethink my college major choices. Not because I regret learning, but because experience teaches you what alignment really means, how education skills, market demand, and long-term goals need to connect. Nostalgia is comforting, reflection is productive.
I like that actually.
Oh yeah, that's probably going to be Tuesday or tomorrow for
Do it
Tuesday.
to
I haven't
do
decided.
it Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the national championship. Enjoy yourself.
Yep. All right. Now, let's get ready to rumble. Sorry, I had to do Michael Buffer. All right, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Tonight is the pre-show for the national championship game. No, we're not talking the college basketball Final Four tournament or March Madness. That's 2 months from now. But we're talking football. Tonight, we're going to be going over how the two teams basically got to the national championship game and the exciting path for both schools. So let's get into it. Justin, take the reins.
Welcome everybody. We are actually 24 hours just about from seeing a grand national championship. Well, will have the Miami Hurricanes, number 10 seed,
Oh, if Notre
versus
Dame should have
the
been there.
Notre. And then we got this blockhand over in the back, being a peanut gallery.
Sorry.
That's what
Notre
she
Dame.
said.
Notre Dame. Notre
Notre
Dame.
shame. Notre shame. Okay. So, versus the number one seed and the number one in the country, 15-0, the Indiana Hoosiers.
And
And
we
it's
and
gonna be
we
at
we somehow believe that the U is back. You know,
so
the
so
swaggerific
as
U from the 1990s, although I don't think honestly, if I had to say one thing about Miami, this team reminds me more of the 2001 team, which you and I were old enough to watch.
yes, we were.
Today's number 11 was our generation's number 11, 42-year-old Ken Dorsey, who's now offensive coordinator in the NFL. Uh, the team top to bottom is just literally the team top to bottom is just literally talented in almost every aspect. Although I'm going to give one distinct difference between 2001 Miami, 2011 Miami. 2001 Miami followed from a whole entire 1990s decade of Miami actually being able to attract the best talent in the country. And we remember some of the names growing up that went through there. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's 53 years old, played on the 94 team with a stat team with Ray Lewis on defense, and Warren Sapp, who went on to eventual NFL success and broadcasting careers. Eventually, 2001 team, top to bottom, that entire roster literally went to the NFL in 2002. and all had long, productive careers. And you remember every single player, including, unfortunately, somebody who got drafted by the Redskins who unfortunately passed in an auto accident in 2007. Who am I referring to?
Oh boy.
Sean Taylor,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
one of the hardest hitting
Yeah.
safeties of that 2001 team. Him and
Oh,
Ed
yeah.
Reed.
Yeah, he did. He put on some force there, definitely.
Now, do I consider number 11 on Miami today, Carson Beck, as good as Ken Dorsey? I would say the plus for both of them is they're both game managing quarterbacks, which is really at this stage what you want when you have such a talented team. The
Agreed.
difference with 2001 is top to bottom. Those players were developed from freshman to senior year. Today, to compete, we have the transfer portal.
Yes, we have the portal.
So now basically, we have gone from traditionally developing college players today to allowing players over the age of 23 to 26 to still stay in college on extra years of eligibility. This will be
Mm-hmm.
touched on during the episode today, but now that I've gone over Miami, it's your turn to go with Indiana. What did you like about Indiana and their playoff run? And then we'll go over Miami's opponents.
Oh yeah. So Indiana had an interesting run. First of all, it all started with their Big Ten championship game versus Ohio State.
Ohio Soft State University, good sir.
We know that, but that's a secret. Um,
Oh,
an
and
open
you
secret,
know
by
I'm
the
gonna
way.
have to insert the Ryan crying day joke.
You feel free to do that, sir.
All right, go ahead.
So the score was 13-10 Indiana, which is the same score that the year before Michigan beat Ohio State to keep to prevent them from going to the Big Ten championship. Um, Indiana played very well that game, and I think that gave them the confidence to say, "Look, we can play too." The next opponent, Oregon. What the hell is who the hell are Oregon? They just got blown out. And this was after they blew out Bama. So first you got Bama, they got blown out. They got Oregon, they got blown, and
I
they got
feel
blown
like
out.
Oregon there just didn't. I feel Oregon lacked the preparation after they did their blowout game. They basically thought they could walk all over Indiana again.
Oregon didn't walk over Indiana the first time. They got beat.
I know this, but my point is this. When you blow out a team, especially even if it's in the playoffs, what normally happens if you've even watched NFL games with, somewhat seemingly high scores or very close at the end wins is that boils over to the next game where either the team decides not to prepare as hard as they do during the week or they overestimate their opponent. I will let you determine how you interpret that.
I say it's neither. I think Oregon just completely shat the bed. I think they just made mistake after mistake. I think they just hurt themselves way too
You believe
much.
that's Lanning and the coaching staff didn't do the proper preparation, or they
No,
just
it's
got
not.
out coached?
Forget about all that. They just play
Football
sloppy
is basically a
football.
chess match, just
They
like
it is, but
if
even
you're
if
playing European football, where some of these games do wind up being chess matches.
yeah, but even if it's a chess match, that goes
In
all
chess,
out
you
the
have to have a
window.
solid strategy. In
Yeah, but
football,
also
you
in
need solid
chess,
strategy too. But football in America, you can also take advantage at certain times if you dial up the right play at the right time.
yeah, but here's the issue. Here's what happened to Oregon. Oregon just got sloppy in general. and Indiana just took advantage. I mean, first of all, Indiana just completely wiped the floor with them. But what made it a true blowout was, first of all, when the ball gets hit by the was it one of the offensive linemen, that results in a fumble for and then another touchdown. I mean, shit like that. That's how you get blown out. And in the first play, oh my gosh, wow, a pick six in the first play, that sets the tone. So that's already two scores.
That's why I say football at some point ends up being a chess match of literally picking the right play at the right time and then being able to execute it. Football is an execution sport,
Execution. I say it's more of an execution game than a chess match.
but
But yeah,
it can be a chess match. That's the
it
whole
can
thing.
be. It can be if both teams are actually doing their jobs, then strategy takes over.
The difference is Indiana's coach is a disciple of Mr. Saban. So
Sure is.
our championship game is basically two Saban disciples from his earliest staffs, which were 2009, no,
Uh-huh.
2007, all the way to 2015. That
Uh-huh.
first staff, most of them all moved on to other jobs in college football or
Yep.
the NFL.
It's like like I said, Saban had little football just children, and and now they're facing off against one another. Hey, it brings more glory to Saban. He
Well,
coached them
yes,
well.
because one of the things that look, I know I made fun, I know I ragged on Nick Saban a lot over the last decade with the jokes like Nick Satan, even though he's from the Belichick tree, but the Belichick Parcells tree. One thing I will say though, not in Saban's defense, but about the person that he was, he didn't just develop football players, he developed tree coaches. He
Yeah.
developed he
Yep.
developed very good graduate assistants. They all went on to different success at different schools.
Yep.
And it's watching two of his better top tier 2015 staff assistants. I mean, he took Kiffin, even though we all say Lane Kiffin is a
We
slime ball as his
yeah, we
offensive
know.
coordinator after the Tennessee job and
Uh,
after the USC job, and he basically molded him into somewhat of a little more of a hotter coach. But Lane is still a dirtbag either way.
we know. But hey,
But unfortunately, the one constant is Lane's original NFL father, who's no longer with him. The father figure that Lane goes to for advice is obviously Nick Saban, and Nick Saban told him, go to my school, LSU.
oh well.
I mean, somebody had to take Monty's place in terms of being the fatherly figure to Lane. Do I think Lane was right for what he did to Ole Miss? And we will touch on Ole Miss
Oh
in a
please,
moment.
let's
No.
let's
But
yeah, yeah.
you know
About
what?
Ole
Lane gets
Miss,
to be the
yeah.
highest paid coach, and Lane also got the cash bonuses for as far as Ole Miss got to go in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can say that.
Now, as for Miami in this cycle actually did get some fantastic football players besides just Carson Beck. I actually just came
Mm-hmm.
across something today with Carson Beck, which was funny, which I think a lot of people don't realize, but it's not their
Mm.
fault. The joke was, do you actually go to class? And he said, "Well, no,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't." But in reality, he claims he graduated 2 years ago before he did the transfer out of Georgia for Miami this year. He's still taking classes.
Of course. Also wouldn't work. That'll break the system.
It's just what happens is athletes in major college programs get get what we like to call preferential treatment. They
We
basically, we
know.
all know they just get passed, or they have schedules that work around their practices and commitments where college
Of
football in
course.
D1 ends up being a full-time job. This was something
Of
that I learned
course. We
back
know.
in my sports management program.
Oh yeah, we know. We all know that.
We all know most of these guys, depending on the school, are NFL bound. The other
Yeah,
percentage are not.
yeah. And by the way, with online university, it makes it even easier.
Well, yeah, because we knew that's what Matt Leinart did back in the 2000s. He wasn't actually in class. He was doing some level of online classes. That
Makes
happened with Joe
sense.
Burrow also in the 2019 season.
Yep, makes sense. That's how you do it.
So now Indiana's coach and Miami's coach. The thing that I want to touch on with both of these gentlemen is that in the game is that Cristobal, before he came to Miami,
Who is that?
was always a portal guy. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing he learned under Saban was to build a solid roster. Signetti was the first
True.
assistant who went to lower tier colleges before coming to Miami. He
Mm-hmm.
won at JMU. He won at
Wait,
uh what was the other big school he went to? Elon, I think it was.
you mean for who are you talking about? Christopher?
Not
Didn't
Cristobal, Signetti.
Cincinnati? Well, okay. Um, what's it? JMU.
He went to
Oh,
one other school. I forgot which one it was. It was like a lower division school. He took two
oh,
head coaching jobs
okay.
in lower
Fair
ranked
enough.
schools before he came to a big school. The thing that I like about him is
Yeah.
that he is a good solid X's and O's coach. He doesn't show a
Mm-hmm.
lot of emotion. There
Yeah.
is one knock against him, which, bringing I like Mendoza, but
Yeah.
Mendoza's going to have a lot of issues at the next level.
Eh, I can see that.
Trying to go from college to the NFL and especially being age 25, 26 is going to be quite a challenge for him because Signetti could build a system around Mendoza and
Right.
NFL coaches,
They
unfortunately,
don't do that.
no. And in fact, I just was seeing in the news Philadelphia. Guess how many years Jalen Hurts has had a new offensive coordinator? Every single year he's been in the league. They're either getting fired, they're either getting promoted, or he's getting them hired to other NFL head coaching jobs after every cycle. So it'll be
Right.
interesting if Hurts ever becomes a coach because he will be the quarterback with the largest amount of offensive coordinator changes, even going back to college, which is how good the kid is. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a great look either.
No. No.
Because at some point you want to see the quarterback grow in somebody's system.
Exactly. And I think that's and I think that's going to be the difference in this game, because that's the one thing that Miami does do is they
They're
do
doing the
give.
same thing as the NFL. My
Yeah,
whole
they are.
thing is this. Cristobal needs to get a freshman quarterback like Malachi Tony and who's a wide receiver and
Hmm.
finally learn to develop from a freshman to a senior. You can't
Yeah.
keep relying on the portal every single time.
Well, you can't blame Christopher at all for this because it's
No,
the
I
nature
can't.
of the portal. You can't control these you can't control these athletes anymore. So
Yeah, that's the
so
biggest problem with the NCAA because
so you just
basically
can't. It's impossible to go back. Development is nearly impossible
you
without
could
some.
develop.
Well,
It's
it's
just the
nearly
problem is this
impossible without
generation
some.
is not trying to be patient like Arch. Arch comes
It's
from a wealthy family, so
this
Arch
is
can
why I was
stay and
getting to that.
develop.
That's how I was getting to that. Like it takes a specific person to be willing to commit to a school. And now they don't have to be committed forever, but it has to be at least a couple of years of development before you transfer. You know, 2 or 3 years
Well,
before transfer. Something.
A perfect example of that, Cameron Newton or Cam Newton.
Yeah. Yep.
We remember this because he did get recruited to go under Urban the douchebag to
Yeah.
Florida, but
Yeah.
he sat behind Tebow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And unfortunately, he did a bunch of stupid things at the University of Florida, like almost every other player that Urban Meyer recruited. And there's been
Well,
jokes about this on Instagram
we
by
know. Yeah.
the creator Tad Boy. That guy's actually frigging funny, like no joke. I laugh at his reels every single time, especially when he tries to parody Saban. But he hit on a very important topic about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was known to basically recruit the biggest knuckleheads in college football. Yet he did get Tim Tebow, who was actually a reasonably good human being. But anyway, the point with Cam is Cam has said this in Arch's defense. If I didn't sit behind Tebow for the year when I transferred to junior college and then to Auburn, I wouldn't have developed as a man.
There you go.
And Arch is
And
able to do that because he comes from the famous Manning family.
exactly. So
Unfortunately, the
privilege
rest of this
happens,
generation are all like, how do I get paid the quickest?
right? Because and it's you can't fault them. You can't fault them either.
No, because Mendoza did the same thing. He was a
Right.
failure at Cal, but when he came to Signetti in Indiana, now he
Yeah.
looks like a reasonably good quarterback.
Yeah. Well, so that switch gears. Let's talk about Mendoza for a minute because Mendoza has an interesting story in this whole grand finale. So Mendoza, the son of Cristobal Buddy, they all went to high school together.
Oh
They
yeah, because they're
all
all from the
went to
Miami
the
area.
Miami area, grew up a couple miles from the U. When he wanted to go to the U, it wasn't Cristobal, but someone else decided no.
The coach before Cristobal got there, I forgot the guy's name, but I know he was from Texas.
Yeah, so whoever that guy is doesn't matter. Rejected them. Mendoza went to Yale, then went to California, and then while at California, he played against Cristobal's Miami team and narrowly lost.
Manny Diaz was before Cristobal.
Sure, whoever, unimportant. Um, and that's probably a painful memory. And I think that might have been the point where he went to transfer portal, and Miami tried to recruit Mendoza. Actually, Cristobal tried to recruit Mendoza. Mendoza said nope. Went to Indiana, blazed the trail. Now he's coming home back to his hometown with a Heisman as a Heisman winner, and he's going against the U. He's going against Miami and Cristobal.
Who also have one of the strongest defensive players there, Ruben Bain.
There you go. And
They
and
also
that's
have a
what
6'9" offensive guard who's like frigging basketball player. I'm surprised the kid wasn't playing basketball at the U at that
hey,
point.
we don't know. We don't know. But that's so on one hand we have Mendoza who's the rejected, the castaway with a painful memory etched in his mind. Gonna go into that Hard Rock Stadium to play against his father's best bud.
Yep.
And then you got the other side. You got the U. You got Miami. You got Carson Beck.
Who was a Georgia transfer, who, by the way,
Georgia,
Miami,
Georgia.
I think Miami beat Georgia and Ole Miss along the way.
Miami didn't beat Georgia.
Who Indiana beat Georgia.
Indiana didn't beat Georgia.
Who beat Georgia?
Ole Miss beat Georgia.
Ole Miss beat Georgia. Ole Miss was actually a nice story just because
Yeah,
Ole
it
Miss was a
is.
nice story, especially post Kiffin. And I
True.
will say this, I think Pete Golding's going to actually end up being a good head coach. I feel bad for their quarterback base, Trinidad Chambliss,
Oh
who
yeah, that was
basically was
tragic.
told by the NCAA, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's tragic. That's absolutely tragic.
We won't give you a 6 year of eligibility,
No. Now let's
which
go.
I think he should have a 6 year of
Yeah,
eligibility
he
only
did medical
because
redshirt.
If
He
you
met
go in this year's quarterback class, you're probably not going to get drafted by a good team.
right. Probably not.
And you're going to be rushed to start where you don't, where unfortunately NFL teams nowadays, the biggest problem in the NFL now in the last decade is they're not developing Gen Z quarterbacks
No, they're not.
quickly enough.
No, they're not.
We've seen we've seen Trevor Lawrence, the first of the Gen Z quarterbacks, has basically been not that good in the NFL.
Yeah.
We've seen we've seen each of the first two classes pretty much they're all backups now. The only reasonably good one who's still starting is Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Tua Tagovailoa basically flunked out in the NFL. Not the best if you were a Saban developed quarterback.
Yeah. Not a good year.
But then again, most Alabama quarterbacks haven't actually performed well when they've gotten to the NFL, and that's another problem because the way Saban's system worked, they were great in college.
Hey, it happens.
Oh, of course. Just like
No.
Leinart,
Yeah.
who's doing broadcasting now.
Yeah.
You were great in college with Pete Carroll. You just couldn't duplicate that success in the NFL. It
Right.
happens.
It happens. Now back to Miami side of the story. Carson Beck. So Georgia transfer after he had a nasty injury on his throwing arm. He goes, he winds up in Miami, also to chase his girlfriend, which was funny.
I know that was the fun. That was
That was
probably one of the
funny.
funniest
That
early
was
season
great.
headlines.
That made my heart go flutter flutter. I'm like, you do you, Carson. You're great. Anyways,
Hey, come
so
on.
Carson,
He wanted to get the punani.
yeah, sure, whatever. I hope things are great. Anyways, Carson Beck, he comes in and just absolutely becomes masterful. He develops into just nice, balanced quarterback. And under Cristoval's guidance, and the fact that the offensive line be for people,
But
protecting them,
that's the thing. It's because he was a
and
line
then you
coach. He
and
knows what to look for in linemen.
yes, and on the defensive side, again, beefy people get into the QB. So Carson Beck is in a good system, and now Carson Beck's absolutely able to make good decisions. Now, Carson Beck's story, great, and he gets to play for a national championship game at the U at home. And after being on the road throughout this entire playoff, gets to come home. Granted, they have to do the visitor's jersey, but that's okay. Can't
Well,
have it
that's
all.
because Indiana gets the home team.
Well, yeah, sure.
Indiana
Can't
has the
can't
better
win it all.
record.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. Irrelevant. Don't matter. What's important is they get to play at the home stadium. Think about that.
It's actually been fun to watch Michael Irvin in all these games, who was one of the biggest legends from the late 1980s, 1990s teams, go crazy at these games.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's what you want. You want craziness. But I'm telling you, what we have here coming up in less than 24 hours is a fight against control, precision versus absolute chaos.
Oh yeah. This is
It's
I think
gonna
this
be
is going to
great.
be this I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game at all actually.
No,
It's probably
not
going
at
to
all.
be it's probably going to be low scoring teens.
Yeah, I'm thinking 17, 10, 17, 13, some
I
shit
give you
like that.
16-10.
16-10 doesn't make sense based off extra points, but sure. Um, I
But
would
the
say
biggest thing
17,
that I just
13,
wanted to
but
point
hey,
out,
shoot.
we have to do this because it's relevant, even though we'll double down and go over it next week.
Hmm.
Ryan Crying Day lost all his whole entire team to the portal.
Well, that's fun.
Uh,
I'm sorry. Dear Mr. Day.
Listen, we
We
respect
don't
the guy,
care.
but he's just so easy to make fun of because he cries like a baby.
He does. Like it's amazing.
I've never come across such a soft coach before.
Honestly, I am not so I don't know. Like it's I'm sorry, but when you won the Natty last year after getting beat by Michigan, and you cry about that because they
Loses to
flattened the
Michigan, but then
foe
goes on to win the national
Natty,
championship game.
and
Beats
still and
beats a
still
Texas team with a new quarterback and a bunch of new players. Pretty
yeah.
much goes all the way
I mean
to the
the
Big
Big
Ten
Ten
title game,
game
loses to
loses
Indiana,
Indiana,
but then makes it all the way to
loses
the semifinals and loses.
loses to Miami.
And
They
cries once again because
yes.
he's got to go tears on national TV.
Yes, because
I have a
you got
theory. It's
beat.
called the JD Vance curse.
Oh no, that's just before JD Vance. Shady Vance, I should say.
No, just Ditch Vance.
Shady Vance. That's
That too.
better.
Sorry,
But
folks, we had to insert a slight political reference. So if
sorry
anyone
about
gets
that.
angry, it's not our fault. We just decided because last year when Ohio State won the national championship, guess who stupidly dropped the trophy?
Oh yes, we know. Good job, buddy.
Good job, buddy. Butterfingers.
Whoops, there it
Clearly, you never
is.
played football when you were living in Ohio.
Oh yeah, 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 sure. Well, yeah,
Not
I
you, I'm
guess not.
referring to JD.
I know. I'm trying to be sarcastic here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, who's going to win? Me, I say I have my bets on Miami only because the sheer chaos they unleash.
Sure, on defense, but honestly, I'm gonna go for Indiana just because of the fact that they do have an actual perfect record.
I don't.
Not because I think they're
Yeah,
the better team. It's just the way they score points and the way they've won games this year. Also, the path to the
yeah.
game.
No, I honestly, Indiana had a weaker path to the Natty.
Of course, they had a weaker path to the Natty, but they still played sufficiently good competition to
They
get there.
did. So did Miami.
Yeah, but who does Miami really play in the ACC besides Georgia Tech?
Well,
I've
let's see
raised this
who
to you
they
the whole
beat.
season. I like Miami, but who did they really play aside from your favorite Notre Dame?
Good question. But then again, you say the same for Indiana. Who did they actually play?
There
Not a
are good
whole.
teams in the Big Ten is the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah,
You're playing
yeah.
Ohio State, you're playing Michigan, you're playing Michigan State,
Did they play Michigan? No, I don't think they played Michigan, did they? I don't think they played Michigan this year.
Indiana.
Yeah, did they? I don't remember.
Let me look that up.
They might. They might have.
Ohio State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Penn State, Maryland, UCLA, uh, Alabama, Oregon.
Oh,
Hold
they
up.
did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Oh, yes, they did. Okay. Nice.
They played
Okay.
them on October 14th, where, oh, yeah,
Okay.
Michigan won that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Like I say, it's one of those. But here's the deal: regular season they did better, but at the same time, in the Natty,
Well, no, it's a completely different ball game, and
completely
they're
different
playing
ball
a
game.
very good defensive team. So I
Yeah.
do agree with
So
you
so
there.
in the regular season, I would agree with you, but after the but from the championship ships onward, it's a whole different ball game. And I think what you have is you have Indiana that went through a pretty good schedule, got in, and then just blew everyone out.
Oh yeah,
Miami,
because they showed up to play. That was the
I
biggest thing.
agree. I like it. Indiana's been great. Oh, I enjoyed watching Indiana quite a bit. And yeah, Miami struggled. Miami didn't play such a great schedule. But the
Miami did have
interesting,
harder opponents, but they also had to go up against the SEC gauntlet.
exactly.
And
But
I'm still going to sit here and
I
say
don't know.
between
I think the Big
personally,
Ten, Big
because
Ten's,
if I get hate for this, I don't care. The SEC is still an incredibly overrated conference. Fight me. I don't care
it
what people
is.
say.
It is. Trust
I
me,
think
it is.
the conference gets too much hype. There are plenty of good teams in the South.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are bred to play football.
They are.
I do like the schools, the tradition, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
The SEC shorts on YouTube because oh
yeah.
my God, that shit's hilarious.
It
But in
is
all
great.
honesty, for the amount of hype that ESPN basically goes like, "Oh my God, SEC, we're gonna ride you. We're gonna ride you." It's like, please name one good team in the SEC besides Texas and Georgia.
Well, on a good year, Florida.
Florida hasn't been good for quite a while.
I know.
I think the last time Florida was actually any good was Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow.
Sadly, that is very true. That's very
Florida
sad.
has been average for the last, let's say,
Half a decade, half a decade to a decade.
half a decade to a decade. I mean, Georgia's been the standout. Texas only got lucky to go 11-1 last year because nobody.
Texas hasn't been in the SEC for very long. So
No, they just got to the
excluding,
SEC,
yeah,
so
so
they were able to come,
excluding,
so
so
nobody
excluding
could figure
Texas.
out how to game plan for them.
There
But
you go.
what I noticed this year that I had a criticism of Texas was give the SEC schools a year and they'll come up with better game plans for
Oh,
Texas.
great, and that's what happened.
Well, no, actually, what was to their favor was Texas breaking in a new quarterback. That was the real downfall.
That's true. That's true.
I think if Quinn Ewers stayed one more year, they probably would have been able to go 11-1 again, but they broke in a brand new quarterback.
Agreed. Agreed.
So,
Yeah. So yeah,
so now
it's
hot
gonna be
takes
good.
and predictions. Okay, we're
I think we
down
did that
to
already.
basically nearing the end of the show. Let's start with hot takes. I predict at least one trick play. I could see a flea flicker or a wildcat somewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, I I can see Miami trying to pull something stupid like that.
It's the last game. I feel both teams are going to pull out the trickeration for the very last game.
I'm not so sure about Indiana. Indiana doesn't do a whole lot of trick plays, but they may try.
No,
They
they'll
may
dial something up. It's the
they'll
last
try.
game of
They'll
the
try.
year. Indiana may just play semi-similar classic Saban ball
Yeah.
to an extent because Signetti was his earliest.
Now I
Assi-
will say something. I think I we can maybe see a fake punt.
Oh, I would love to see a fake punt.
I think or a fake extra point. I can see that for sure.
I would like a fake extra point too.
And that would be like a go for two shit. I would say,
Somebody's mom's face in the crowd is going viral for reacting to a fumble.
where's this?
No, I had ChatGPT drop a few things for us.
Oh, so moving on, continue.
Or somebody's face plant after a missed block is gonna get like a million likes on social media.
I, I would see an oh no face.
All right, what's your score prediction? I say Hoosiers pull the upset 27-24.
I, it needs to be less than that. I'm thinking more like 17-13 Miami.
17-13 Miami? That's
Yeah,
only because you like the physicality of the team.
true. But at the same
You like
time,
that they're overly physical.
the
They
physical,
they make
there's
good use of
chaos.
the receivers and the running backs.
They can run the ball. They're gonna be able to run the
Well,
ball
because
on
that
Indiana.
remember, how did when we were kids, remind me how Miami won games that year.
Then they run the ball.
They had four good running backs. Do you remember the name of those four
I
running backs?
probably don't.
Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, and Jarrett Payton.
Oh, Peyton, yeah. I remember Peyton.
Peyton, who had actually been a transfer to that school, who wanted some time, but then ended up and didn't end up actually playing until the other three left. Portis left.
Ah,
Portis and McGahee each left the next 2 years. Gore stayed till his senior year and then went bounced to the NFL and then bounced to the NFL. And Peyton, I think, was the last of that stable. They even had
mm,
Najee Davenport, who went to the
ah,
NFL.
okay.
Kind of funny because, like I said, that 2001 Miami team was loaded at every single frigging position. All you had to do was
Yeah.
basically plug in California's Ken Dorsey as a game manager. Whoever you plugged in for quarterback literally had a
There you
loaded
go.
backfield, had the best skill players, had one of the best big ugly offensive lines, had all the best defensive players you could have ever frigging asked for. Even
Yeah.
though I thought
Mm.
Coker, who was a holdover from Butch Davis's coaching staffs with Randy Shannon, they just got incredibly lucky because they were riding their previous head coach's remainder players before things started to get a little icy for the U.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can see how Indiana wins, but I the key to Indiana having winning is if they can contain the chaos and protect Mendoza long
The
enough.
thing that I'm sketchy with when it comes to Mendoza is
Yeah,
his footwork. He only had this year to really a short amount of time to learn a new offense.
true. There's that.
He's been exposed quite a few times in throughout
Hmm.
the season.
Oh yeah, he's been exposed. But so that this is why I say this is how Miami wins. Miami. It's not that they're big and physical. They're fast. They play time lord on you. They will rush your quarterback. They will knock him down. And then when they have the ball, they will keep it forever and a day. Then they will score 3 points, sports, whatever. And then there's the occasional, oh man, probably one of the best plays in college football to date. That pick
Ruben
six,
Dane.
that pick six from during that Ohio State game. Boy, that was good. And I think in the end, it kind of played off of that too at the Oregon game.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely for
but
sure.
that's but the one for during the Ohio State game, that's probably the play of the season of all season.
Oh, definitely for sure.
I mean that pick six was just like the
Oh
suddenly
no,
you're just
just
like
the timing
the
of it. Because
timing's
I actually
perfect.
went back after each of the games since I was live streaming and I looked at the YouTube highlights. For sure, both teams
Oh,
deserve to be there in this.
they do.
They've had a
They,
full 2 weeks to prepare, so I
yep,
know it'll be a good game tomorrow
yep,
night.
yep.
And hopefully Indiana. But by the way, I still have to insert Notre Dame should have been there.
Notre Dame didn't qualify.
They declined. They should have taken a bowl game.
Yes, they should have taken the Pop Tarts Bowl game. It would have been a
The
fun
Pop-Tart
matchup.
Bowl was boring. Sorry.
It was not boring. Maybe you just was bored.
I mean, I watched it. I just didn't like that Notre Dame wasn't there, and you can't blame me
Oh
for that.
wow. That's not anyone's fault but Notre Dame's. That's the point.
Oh, quiet you.
That's what she said.
You know what? I'm bigly.
For cookie trees.
Damn you. Now we're taking all our text jokes onto the freaking recording.
Hey, you started it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you have to finish it. Do not
That's
say
my
that's what she
job.
said.
That's my job.
Damn you. Damn you. All right, guys, we had a good time making this tonight. We'll see you next week we'll see you next week for our final show of the season, and then we'll be back for Cringe in February. All right.
Y'all in 24 hours,
Hours,
y'all.
24 hours. Let's go, Indiana.
Let's go, Canes. The U is back.
Let's see what they do next year.
Let's see if someone else gets in next year.
Notre Dame. All right, guys, have a good night.
Night.